Hey, Steve Basic Architect. Yeah, I am out at this beautiful setting somewhere in New England. We're working on a 1812, 1815 house here, and we're doing some renovation work to it, but we're also putting on a sizable addition and new construction. So today's video, we are going to talk about windows being installed in the new construction part. All right, so before we actually talk about the install of the new windows, let's talk a little bit about why we do what we do. So front elevation, this house is like 1815, right? Over 200 years, 210 years if we want to do the math correct. The original house here, we're obviously doing some new work on the backside, and that's where we're going to talk about the windows. But it's really important to understand, why do we do the flashing in the system, right? I post these videos and people say, oh, that's overkill. Oh, you're doing it, it's crazy. But let's talk a little bit about how and why windows fail. So we have a prime example here. On this front elevation, we have 9 windows. This window is by far the worst of the 9 windows. And you can see here, like, this is all moist. I could sit here and chip away and just literally pull out a whole bunch of junk, right? I could come over on the side. I can stick my finger in there over an inch, right, into the side of what was a wooden jamb. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, why is this window different than the other 8? Well, I call your attention to, look at the side of the window. This thing is just jammed with caulking on the side there. And that caulking suggests that, yes, this window probably had a history of leaking. And the first thing that we call to action when we see a leak is, well, let's stop the leak. Yes, we want to put up a barrier, right? So they come in, they cake on some caulking. If it's still leaking, guess what we do? We cake on a little bit more caulking. And then caulking might fail, we get a leak, guess what happens? We come on and we cake on even more caulking. So this has become pretty much a caulking nightmare on the side of the house. Now, understand, the minute you put in a barrier system like that, one of the problems that you have is that should water get on the backside, it doesn't have the ability to dry out anymore, because that barrier now is not working in your favor, it's actually working in reverse. Instead of keeping water out, it's now holding water in. So all of that cumulative moisture that gets in there, guess what it does? It falls down through that wood and it concentrates down at the bottom of the wood. Look what's happening down here. This is damp wood. That is not just some wood fibers. That's wet mush inside there. So that caulking is really keeping moisture on the inside of the window, and we've never given that moisture a path to go. And that's what's setting us up for, we're going to go on the back side and we're going to talk about the window install and the way that we do it now, and why do we do it the way we do it now, so we don't end up here. Let's jump around the back side. I'll see you over there and we'll talk window install. All right, so we have one of the rough openings cut out here. Now, understand, it's very easy in the field of the wall to manage water, right? We put up our integrated weather-resistant barrier. In this case, it's the Zip system. This is a Zip R6 product. It's got 1 inch of polyurethane foam on the inside of that. And then you put the panels up, you simply tape them off, roll the tape, lap the tape, and we have a very good weather-resistant barrier. Now, we're going to put a rain screen on the outside of this, so water is going to be able to fall. But unlike the desire to just keep the house looking like a tool shed, we actually want to put windows in it, so that when we put windows in it, we obviously have to cut a hole in the opening. And that's where we are here, right? So you can see here's that cross section of the Zip R6. So we have 7/16 zip, integrated weather resistant barrier, and then the 1 inch of insulating sheathing there. And then we basically have our 2x6 frame. So that gets cut in, but we really need to be able to make the connection between the window and our drainage plane out here. We need to bridge that gap, because the window is now going to become our control layer for water management, air management, vapor, and thermal management in this opening. It's all 4 control layers in that one component. So the first thing we do, cut that opening, and then we put in our slope sill. This is just a piece of lap siding, so it's tapered, and then it goes to a back dam. So you can see there's a little 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 inch lip there, and then this will get fully flashed and come over the top, and then that'll hide that cut edge of the zip there, and then we'll have that flashed, and then we'll come around here and we'll bring our flashing and we'll cover that edge, and then that will leave us with a nice flashed opening that we can then insert the window to. So why don't we take a walk over here? We'll look at the window with all of the flashing and ready to install the window. We talked about the sill pan, the back dam. Here we have that fully flashed window before we're going to install it. You can see there's that back dam. We have our sloping sill here. We use the zip stretch tape that comes down and that folds over that front face. So it's protecting that cut edge of our Zip R sheathing there, but it's also providing that positive drainage, that path of mitigation, if you will. That's been turned up the jambs about 4 inches, and then we come down the jamb again, protecting those edges there, coming down over the top of that zip stretch tape. And the important thing to understand is that, you know, we had this field of zip, we cut a hole and we put a window in. So we need something to bridge from the continuity of the field of the wall to the window. And so by turning this in and then installing the window, we'll be able to connect the window via sealant or expanding foam to this jam liner, and the jam liner obviously connected to our primary air barrier out here. So that's how we provide that air barrier continuity on the inside of the window. And you can see that goes up. The head is treated the same way. Because we have this corner, the builders here, they like to just do a little stretch tape patch, and you can see that's folded into the corner, goes over that very nicely. And then the last piece is when we go to set the windows, we put these shims in. And you put the shims in and we simply tape them because we don't want to penetrate that with a nail there. And the placement of these shims are really important. I like to hold it out of the corner here about 1 inch. If you hold it too tight, you have the ability to capture water inside there. So we always want to make sure this is free draining. So I pull that first shim out just a little bit, and then we have our subsequent shims, one on the other side, and then now we're ready to install the window. So we've returned to that opening. You know, we just seen it all flashed. Now we actually have the window in. So these are Anderson 200 series. They are a flanged window, which means that they have a flange around. You can see there's a nailing flange there with all the nails in there. The window gets installed, plumb, square, all of that. It gets installed on those shims that we saw when we were talking about the flashing of the rough opening. But the window gets installed, the flange gets back cocked down the jambs, across the head, and down the other jamb. It does not get back cocked on the bottom here. Honestly, we want to keep that open so that if any water gets in there, then it can just drain out. These nails are pretty loosely nailed down at the sill there, but notice there's no flashing, there's no back cocking. Anything that gets into this system has the ability to come down to the bottom via gravity and basically drain out. So window gets installed, back caulking on the flange, and then you notice here they will run a piece of flashing tape up the jamb on each side, and then they come across the top with 2 pieces. And that's just basically double protection on that leading edge of the tape, right? A lot of people get concerned about water coming down our rain screen and getting in on that leading edge. This here is a good way to protect it by having that second layer. So even if this fails, it's still protecting that lower piece of tape there. So you can see here, this is a fully testable system, right? If we wanted to, we should be able to take out a hose this down, and we should see success. Everything that happens after this is the integration into our cladding system, and we have a mock-up around the corner. So follow me down here and we'll just take a look at where that will go. So windows installed exactly like the window there. Notice that we have our 6/4 sill here. This is a historic sill. Notice that it also has the little drip cut right there. So if water comes down and goes around the corner, it's forced to drip, not return to the wall there. Our windows in, we have our casings on, and then our outer trim here that goes on 3 sides. We do have our cap flashing there. Now, the cap flashing, the builder just set it on there for the mock-up. They will actually cut the rain screen, tuck that back, and it will get formally taped to our weather-resistant barrier, in this case, the zip. But we're using the Benjamin Omdike Home Slicker. This is what is our rain screen. So it's about 1/4 of an inch, maybe about 3/8 of an inch. It's just this woven matrix here that the lap siding will then sit on. And you can see we just have a couple pieces here that the guys put up. And yes, if I poured water in here, it would literally drip all of the way down and down and out, making it somebody else's problem, right? But that's our beautiful install there. That's what it's going to look like. So the only thing to do now is to go around and replicate this install system amongst the other 24 some odd windows on the project. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. That to me is how you install a flanged window the right way. So if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. Thanks for joining in. If you're not a subscriber, you know what I'm going to say. Smash that subscribe button. Go tell all your friends. Yes, Steve, registered architect. We do work all over the country, but we're in my backyard here in New England. We caught up. Big shout out to 2-Story Building doing the work out here that we've done a lot of projects with. Thank you for mocking this all up and setting up the systems here so we can shoot this video. So big shout out to Doug and Bill, the owners of 2-Story Building, and Matt and Sam, the guys out here actually doing some of the work. But yeah, smash that subscribe button. Go tell all your friends. You want to learn how to do it the right way? You come here and we have that discussion. If you have any comments, you want to share some experiences, certainly drop those comments in the comment section. Always be respectful. If you're respectful, I'll be respectful. And I think we can have a really great discussion, and maybe on the backside, we make the industry even a little bit better. So I'm always up for learning, share that information. But until next time, I'm Steve Basic Architect. Yeah, you know the deal. Long live our buildings.